All right, good morning, class, or really good afternoon, and welcome to week number 4. That is right, week number 4 of your 7314 class, which is your reference class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. Jace K. Austin, and this week we are going to do a few course updates in the check-in video, and then we are going to go ahead and look at one particular resource that is a legal forms resource. I am going to be focusing that legal forms resource on Missouri because the state that I am accessing the legal forms database from is Missouri. However, there are the same legal forms database, which is offered by Gale, is actually available in most states, if not all. And so your public libraries, this is more of a public library resource as opposed to an academic library resource. So you can contact your local public library if you're a member and ask them if they have a legal forms database for state legal forms. Most likely they do. Even small public libraries tend to carry this because it's such a popular resource. However, if your local public library doesn't have it, then you may want to, you may want to see if there's a neighboring library that also extends membership to people in adjacent counties or adjacent jurisdictions and see if you can get access to this that way. And I'm not going to show you all exactly how to use this database. I'm going to make you all aware of it, show you some of the features, because what I do with these check-in videos, I do not show you how to use the resources I am accessing. Is not a training session. You can get tutorials online. You can also, a lot of times, contact the database vendor for a tutorial. A lot of times they will do it. They may not do it for you as an individual, but a lot of times they will do it for you if you can come as a group. So if you and maybe a librarian or somebody, or a group of people may want to get like a tutorial on a database from a vendor, sometimes they'll do that. They'll always do it for librarians. So if you do actually work in a library, you can probably get them to give you a tutorial by saying you work at such and such library and you are a library school student and you are wanting to know more about the database. Okay. But having said that, let's get into some course updates. First of all, your virtual reference paper is due on February the 20th. So outside of discussion boards, that is your next assignment. If you have not made contact with your partner for that assignment, then please do so this week, because this assignment is due. It's due a week from this coming Sunday. So please make contact with your partner this week. Try to get things done. I do know that some of you have not made contact with your partners, and I've actually tried to reach out to a couple of you myself without success. So just know that that assignment is coming and you don't want it to sneak up on you, okay? That's my dog making that noise. Hold on. Okay, yeah, my dog just squeals like that every now and then. I don't know why he does it. He's been to the vet. They said there's nothing wrong with him. He's been doing that for years. Whatever. But anyway, we got that taken care of. So yes, again, please make contact with your partners through the virtual reference assignment this week. You have a little less than 2 weeks to get it done. So yes, now is the time to go ahead and get the ball rolling on that if you have not done it already. Some of you have already finished the assignment, or at least finished your interviews, and so that's great. You're ahead of the game, and that's good, and keep that up. Another thing that I need to update you on is that I apologize, I have not finished the semester-long project yet as far as the updates, but I need to get those up this week. So I'm going to go ahead and get that updated and ready for you all this week. So it should be up and at 'em by this weekend, and then from there you can go ahead and get in there and start working on it. I promise you will still have plenty of time to get that completed. It takes about 40 hours to complete. I still think that even after week 3, you all should still have enough time to go ahead and get that assignment done and squared away. The last thing that I want to talk about as far as course updates is concerned is that the unassignments They were due yesterday on February the 6th. They are up now. So I would like for you all to go ahead and y'all can do this at any point in the semester. If now it's too busy, that's why it's going to stay as a discussion board post that can be accessed at any time this semester. But what I would really like for you all to do, especially if you are interested in being a reference librarian, is yes, I would like for you all to go ahead and just take a look at the work that your classmates have done related to these databases. And that is that's for one thing, that is actually going to help you with the semester-long project. You're going to have a better understanding of what all of these databases do once you read through the work that your classmates have done. But then also the second reason that I want you all to go ahead and look at those when possible, hopefully this week, but if not this week, just look at them, is yes, because there are just so many databases out there that and nobody really ever tells you exactly what the different databases do. Once you get hired on, yes, there will be librarian onboarding. There will be training so that you can kind of learn about the different databases and see exactly what's out there. But most of the time, you are going to acquaint yourself with databases through accidental means. Somebody is going to ask you something that you don't know, and then you're going to ask a coworker, well, how do I figure this out? And then you're going to be pointed to a database. That is a lot of times how this works. Because libraries really have not figured out how to exactly train librarians on being proficient in knowing exactly what databases are out there and how to use all the different databases. This is something that people just have to learn on the job. I really am trying to figure out some system that can be adapted to individual libraries where people can just learn how to use the databases in kind of like a boot camp type of thing as soon as they get hired on. And if I figure out how to do that, I will be rich and I will retire, but I am not there yet because database selections are so localized depending on where you are actually working. So that's why it's not something that has been viable for somebody to create thus far. So those are my updates. I would just run through some of these different examples of the different unassignment posts that have been done, but the only reason I'm not going to do that is because, again, last semester I had a concern with a student who had a stalker, and so that student was trying to make sure that their identity was not on the in these videos or on the web anywhere. So now that I know that that could be a concern with other people as well, I'm just gonna avoid that entirely. All right, so let's take a look at a legal forms database, and I will show you a few things within it. This video should total less than 20 minutes, I'm hoping, because it should only take me about 12 minutes to look at this. Okay, so again, when it comes to the legal forms database that is offered through Gale, or offered by Gale. Gale is one of the big vendors. I would say that your biggest vendors are Gale, ProQuest, and EBSCO. There are other vendors, but those are your big time players in the library field. And Gale offers this legal forms database. It's going to be focused on Missouri because I'm accessing this through Mid-Continent Public Library System, which is a public library system in the metro Kansas City area. So, Kansas City, Missouri area. So, yes, it's going to be focused on Missouri. However, again, depending on what state you're in and what public library you tend to use, and this is, like I said, mostly offered through public libraries. Depending on what public library you're using and where it's located, your focus state is possibly going to be different from the state that you see here than Missouri. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this. Whoops, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Already starting off bad. All right, and here we go. All right, and so it's going to take me here, and I am actually going to pause for a second. I apologize. Okay, and so the first thing that I want to let you all know is that you can actually search, and then you can browse by main categories in this database. But then also your most popular searches are here, and my experience as a public librarian tends to line up with this. When I was using this database as a public librarian, and by the way, I've never used it as an academic librarian. I was only a public librarian for a year and a half. I was an academic librarian for, I guess, 9.5 years. And yet I never used this in the academic library, but you might. And so that is another just tip for the wise. If you are working as an academic librarian, you may also still want to be ready to pull up your local public library's resources when needed. And you may want to have at least an elementary understanding of what your local public library has to offer, because sometimes you're going to have to refer a patron to the public library, and then sometimes you're just going to want to get information from the local public library for your patron right there, even if you are at the university library or the college library. But having said that, yes, in my 1.5 years working as a public library, which I'll admit wasn't that long, these were the guys that I was dealing with the most. Divorce, real estate, landlord, tenant. There were various letters, contracts, and that sort of thing. Those were the ones that I dealt with the most. I don't know that I ever dealt with power of attorney or will and estates or bankruptcy or those sorts of things. But divorce is very, very frequent, very common. And again, landlord tenant issues, those are actually also very, very common. And what you can do is, and then also I do just want to also show that here in the browse main categories, again, some of these are going to be things that you're going to want to be on the lookout for. Contracts in particular, I'm actually kind of surprised that contracts isn't over in this area. But a lot of people, they don't want to go through a lawyer, but they want to have a legally binding contract or agreement that two parties can sign. And so they can pull those up from here. And these are still legally binding as long as both parties agree with the terms and sign them. And so let me show you an example here. Actually, we'll go into divorce. That'll be one. All right, so once you actually go into a category, then you're going to see that you have however many total forms, and then you can kind of scroll down and find look at the various forms that are available. All right, sorry, jumped around a little bit there. But once you get into one of the categories, you have all these various subcategories that you can get into. So things related to, motions for hearings, judgments. You have some things related to name change here, some things related to custody. All of these sorts of things will fall under divorce and separation. And you can pull up your sample forms here. You can also go over to the left and narrow your results a little further. So most of these for divorce are going to be related to family law, but you do also have sample letters where you can fill in information, including names in the spots that have little fill in the blank areas, real estate, all of these sorts of things. And so what you can do is you can actually, like, let's say that you wanted to, let's see what a good one would be. So, and you have these packages, by the way. I've never really dealt with the packages that much, but if you don't really want to, because one of the things that is also very important is that even if you have a JD, and some of you probably do have a JD, we have a lot of students who have JDs and who are former practicing lawyers and that sort of thing. Even if you have a JD, you probably don't want to give legal advice. And if you don't have a JD and you're not a paralegal, you especially don't want to give legal advice as a librarian. But these packages, a lot of times, they are good for giving people a lot of information to kind of sift and sort through without, and you can do that in a way that allows you to avoid actually giving these people legal advice, even if they ask for it, because people will ask for legal advice. But let's say, for instance, that we wanted to, actually, let me pause and find a good one here. Actually, this certificate for dissolution of marriage is probably the best one for me to pick. So when you click on one that you want, a lot of times they'll have both Word and PDF formats. I see that this one only has a PDF format, but you get a nice little description, and the description will let you know whether it'll help you determine whether or not this particular form is the form that you really should be filling out for what you're trying to accomplish. Actually, I don't like this example, so let's go to another one. Sorry about that, but let's see. custody of children. Maybe this one will be a little better. So you see, but this one is also just in PDF form. Let's see. Okay, but this one still works. So what you see this little brief description here, and if this is if that description leads you to believe that this is the particular form that you want, then you can go ahead and download the file. Again, a lot of times they're in Word or PDF format. This one is just in PDF. But what you can do after you've downloaded the form is you can go ahead and actually fill in the blank information in the form. You can do the fill in the blanks. You can fill in the check boxes as needed. And once you have completed the form, then once you actually do the signing, then this becomes a legally binding form. Now, you do have to, again, this is why you have to be particular about not giving legal advice. These can vary as far as whether or not they need to be signed in front of a notary, whether or not a judge needs to be present, and all of this stuff. So you see like judge signature and things like that there. You really don't want to get into all of that and trying to lead your patrons as far as what they need to do there. If you are not qualified to do so, and most of you are just not going to be qualified to do so. Okay. So yeah, just be kind of careful there. But yeah, that's basically how this database works. Now you can also do different, and I will show you, like as far as landlord tenant, I'm pretty sure a lot of these are actually going to be in Word form as well. So, if you have, let's take a look at this first one here. Yeah, so we've got Word here. So you've got, again, a description, you've got a preview, related definitions. I didn't work too much with that. But if the description and preview allow you to believe that this is the appropriate form for what somebody is trying to accomplish, then you can go ahead and, again, download. In this case, it's going to download into Word, and there we go. And again, all you do is just kind of fill in the blanks, check boxes as needed, and then you do the signing. And so, and this can also be done for, I mean, there's just a wide variety of things that this can be done for. So you have this for landlord tenant. As far as contracts, one thing that I like to show, one thing that I use quite a few times is, wedding photography should be one. So you can use this search button here too, instead of just browsing. And so agreement for wedding photography services. If you know somebody who's getting married and they want to create some sort of contract or agreement with a photographer for providing wedding photography services, you can actually find this here, get a little, again, description there, a little preview there, and you can download. And again, it's going to pop up in here. And again, all this good information, you have it right there. And then you can have the photographer sign, and you can have the client sign, and you can fill in all of these other pieces of information, including cost and so forth, address, whatever the case may be, as needed. All right. And so that's pretty much how this database works. Again, this database does have forms for the United States as well. Like, it's not just state forms, you do have federal forms. I'll go actually back into the divorce thing here just to show you that. So if you see MO, those are the state forms. But if I go to, I think they're definitely on page 3, you see US. So these can be forms that are more federal or more generalized to other states, okay? You've got the tax forms in there. I've never really messed with the tax forms through this database. However, there are libraries now that are starting to push back on being basically the tax form outlet for the federal government, because the federal government basically stopped printing the tax forms and sending them out to libraries and post offices and things, and just tried to they tried to push that cost on to libraries to print out the forms for people. And so I remember when the federal government was actually sending tons and tons of tax forms to public libraries, and that's how I feel it should be done. But you know how things are with the government, okay? And we're going to be, a lot of you, government employees once you become librarians, even if it's state or local as opposed to federal. So anyway, okay, I am about to go over time, but just to say in closing, this is a very helpful database for trying to find, again, legal forms, contracts, and things like that for people who just do not have the resources or do not have the desire to retain a lawyer. So you've got lots and lots of things here. And so I would definitely recommend that you find and identify this database and how to access it through your public library. And again, if you're not in Missouri, there's probably a localized there's probably a database for your state wherever you are located. And you probably just want to familiarize yourself with what's available in this database. And then from there, you probably just want to be ready. Somebody's going to come in, especially if you're a public librarian, somebody's going to come in and they are going to want sample, or they're going to want the sample contracts for if they are trying to, or legal forms if they're trying to get a divorce, or they're having a dispute with a landlord or a tenant, or if they are having an issue with taxes or having an issue with a bill collector or anything like that. Workers' comp, you see all of these various browse by category things here, and all of these are things that people are going to be looking for help for. Okay. So that's going to do it right there. I'm sorry I went over time, but that's a lot of times going to be the case for me because I can just be kind of long-winded, as are a lot of librarians. But having said that, I hope you sped it up. I am Dr. Jace. We are going to finish this race. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.